tough game. Proud of our guys for playing hard, and just thing sticks out to me is -3 turnover margin. So turn the ball over 3 times and not get any takeaways really was the difference in the game. So played good enough and well enough to win, but not in those areas. So that's what it comes down to, in my opinion. So questions.
Hey, Coach, I know you guys talk a lot about finishing there. In the fourth quarter, you guys gave up some big plays on defense. I guess how disappointing was it to see, especially they bring their backup quarterback and you guys aren't able to get them off the field and they have a couple big runs
Yeah,
to kind
very
of put it
disappointing.
away?
I think that last run, it was 3rd and long, and they ran the football and were, kind of trying to stop some different things. And obviously, if you have that call back, you'd like to have a different call maybe, but at the same time, you got to get him on the ground, so it's still a run play. And then he had the long quarterback run on another, short yard situation, which I thought that was just bad execution on our part. So, yeah, that was disappointing. To me, you put yourselves in a tough spot, but defense has to step up. So that's really, to me, was just a frustrating thing without question.
I guess going back to the turnovers and on the offensive side, Connor's got the two kind of, I guess, the first play of each half and then the one with Anderson. I mean, did you feel like it was kind of reflective of maybe an offense that could find its rhythm at times tonight, but just could not find that I guess, consistent groove?
Yeah, the first one was a tip ball, and then the second one was a 50-50 ball. So, yeah, they were the first plays and gave them momentum right out of the start of each half, which is tough. So, and then obviously the final fumble was, fighting for yards, and we worked so hard on ball security every single day and to get a helmet on the ball. And so it's just frustrating without question. But got to do a better job protecting the football, and it's just takeaways. Big deal on defense, and protecting the ball is a huge deal on offense.
Tom, you guys gave up 14 points in the first total of 3 minutes of the first and second half, which puts you in a huge hole, but yet still in the game. What do you guys have to do, though, to stop making those mistakes and being able to be in a position to win, even though like you almost were today, but without those 14 points, it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah, it's just so frustrating for me. I haven't had this type of pattern continue like this. It's just hard to put a finger on. Obviously we've changed so many different things practice-wise and trying to emphasize the strong starts, and they've been big things that have given up points. Just to me, we got to go back and continue to look at different ways to try and create. Like I said, don't know that our guys are not ready to play. They've played hard. They've been locked in. It's just this one today just seemed kind of, just not able to, come up with a play on defense to get a stop, and then you give the ball away, right out of the gate. And it just kind of sets everything off to a negative tone. And you're right. Outside of those two, but they are part of the game, so you can't separate them. But it's just frustrating. There's no doubt.
We've obviously talked a little bit about mistakes. There was one play, I think, where you guys had a stop basically, and Monster gets called for the unsportsmanlike. Just what did you see there, basically, and what did I didn't get a great look at it, but what did you see him do, and what did you?
I just don't see that call being made in that situation. That's my opinion. So I just don't see it.
Tom, second game now without Cam and Jalen. Just how do you think the defense is adapting to those losses, and what areas do you need to see improvement from moving forward?
Yeah, you lose 2 elite players. It's hard, but other guys are stepping up. It's been, it's made it more difficult without a question. But, hopefully we get Jalen back here, who has a chance to come back sooner probably than Cam. So, but hope we'd get him back here soon. But yeah, we need those guys. There's no doubt about it. We need everybody. But you had Brylan Lanier got a huge sack right before half there, which was really huge for his confidence, and his execution was tremendous on that play. And we worked hard on that. So other guys are rising up and doing things. But obviously, it hurts to lose 2 all Big Ten guys, and Cam was playing at All-American level, in my opinion. So, yeah, you don't just replace guys like that.
Obviously, Tagovailoa was a really good player that you have to prepare a lot for to be able to play. First off, I guess, what was your game plan going in against him? And when he went out, I guess, did you see it kind of change mentalities in your defense or the way they were going about anything against the backup?
Well, we were trying to prevent the explosive pass plays. That's something he does really, really well. And he creates them with his legs as well as just in the flow of the drop. We had a hard time getting him on the ground. He's a really, really elusive guy and has been that way on film every single week. So, yeah, they're a really good offense. They really are. We knew that going in and knew they were going to be challenging. One of the best receiver corps in the country, without question. That's when you got a talented quarterback like that with the combination, makes it tough. So, yeah, I think when you get a new guy in there, he had played a little bit against Michigan. Actually came in that game and drove down and scored at the end of that game as well against Michigan. A little bit, similar style in terms of we didn't think they necessarily would change, but the quarterback runs were a little more downhill than they were, making guys miss. So, but we still felt like we had, we just didn't execute, in my opinion, in terms of the call that was made for those situations where he broke free a little bit. But yeah, I mean that's what guy goes down, another guy's got to step in and make plays. So obviously a little bit different style, but similar enough to where we didn't think that they were going to change things.
First game with Rod Carey leading the offensive line. What did you see from that unit up front?
Well, I thought they played solid. I haven't watched the film, but I saw some improvement without question. I thought we had a big physical defensive line that has pressured people, and I thought they held up better in the pass protections and did some things to help them as well. But yeah, definitely a positive step in the right direction with that group, no question about it.
Coach, we've kind of talked over the season as the games have progressed about the tackling, it continuing to be an issue. Another struggle today. What was kind of just what wasn't clicking on defense today with the tackling?
Yeah, I thought that, especially early on, I mean, we had guys several times where we had guys right there in the right position to make those plays, and they got to finish them, and whether it's some of our corners trying to tackle their big backs, and both of their backs are big and physical, and that can be a physical mismatch in some ways, but you still got to play with technique, and so, man, we've worked extremely hard the last couple of weeks on it. Saw some improvement last week. Disappointed with today's. I mean, they have a lot of good athletes. I think when you have the more elite athletes, sometimes that makes it harder, to tackle those guys because they're going to make you miss, as well as the combination of power and quickness, what makes it tough. But I mean, just continue to work on it. I mean, that's not going to change. And yeah, disappointed in that for sure. I'm out there several plays. There was a third down earlier in the game where we had the guy, 2-3 yards behind the line and didn't get him on the ground. So, and a couple of them were, more of our older guys that we count on to do that. So, just never going to cease to emphasize takeaways and tackling. We're not getting enough takeaways, and we didn't tackle good enough tonight. So to me, that's a disappointing part for our defense.
Coach, you guys were up by 3 when Tagovailoa went out. I know you mentioned that you just felt like you didn't execute that last stretch, and I guess without having watched film, like what specifically did you see go wrong?
Well, there's a couple, quarterback runs, like I said, that one in particular. To me, the key one was the third and long, where we had a chance to get off the field and we didn't, and they ran the football. And we had a pass pressure called and they ran it, and so just kind of, sometimes you're trying to decide what they're going to do, and if you have a run call in and you're going to give them too much time against these talented receivers, and if you don't get any pressure on the quarterback, so it's kind of it's just part of it. You got to make decisions, and I just I wish we could have that call back without question, but to me, it's just about having just a finishing mindset, finishing mentality, and we had ourselves in a position to do that, and we didn't do it. So that's what makes us really, really disappointing. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Elio.